We are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
What's up, geeks, and welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. My name is Nate, and this is episode 2, Attack of the Clones, everyone's favorite Star Wars movie, am I right?
Yeah, right.
If you're just joining us, this is a weekly show covering the world of film, television, gaming, toys, and collectibles, and all things geek-centric. Joining me once again on the show, we've got the juvenile JLAW.
Hey, hey.
And to his right, we've got the Kevinator himself, Kevin Hudson. What's going on?
I told you I'd be back.
So how's it going today, guys?
Good.
Wow, doing well.
Yeah, just getting the day started.
Very cool, very cool. What you guys been kind of...
Well, we're going to do some work on some video stuff after this recording. But we thought we would start the day off.
Any kind of sneak peeks or previews we can get? I mean, by the time you're listening to this, the video that you're discussing probably will be out, so I guess we can kind of talk about it.
Can we give away any details?
Oh.
I think we can. Yeah, we're doing our first giveaway. We're going to be calling it the 1K, 10K giveaway because we missed the 1K milestone.
Right.
So we thought, based on how fast we've just grown, we would wait till the 10K so we could do a double stack.
Double whammy.
Double whammy.
Yeah. Very cool.
We're both just donating things from our large collection that we would love to see.
Yeah, some pretty cool pieces though.
Yeah.
Definitely worth checking out.
Nothing from my collection, right?
No, nothing from
This
your
time.
collection.
That's
Thank you.
next time.
Yeah, next time. Yeah.
All right. I'm sure my house would thank you. Very cool. Well, let's move right into whatcha. So let me ask you, Justin, what you been doing?
Yeah, so I've been watching the new television show with what's her name? Gosh, I can't remember her name right now. Colby Smulders?
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
How I Met Your
Plumber
Mother.
Town or whatever. What's
Yeah,
it
yeah.
called? Spunket Town.
Yeah. We should probably have the name ready to go.
Spunket Town.
It's
Let's go with
it's a
Spunket
weird
Town.
name. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm always like hesitant or questioning when they choose these names that
Right.
aren't appealing to mass audiences
Yeah.
right away. You know.
We saw that trailer in the theaters. Is that the one where?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we did.
And it kind of looked like her character from Avengers in a show, almost.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, it does definitely have like some of those Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s, like is it Maria Hill? Yeah. Maria Hill aspects to it, but it's called Stumptown.
Stumptown. Very close.
Yes, it took me long enough. But yeah, I've actually just, it's only 2 episodes have released and I just started watching it.
Cool.
I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's getting good reviews.
Like it's a really kind of like fun show, and you're learning about her background, and she's not a cop, but she has like a military background, and it's kind of unfolding in her relationships with certain people. So it's really interesting. I would definitely say that it's one of the better shows that's on the network television lineup. That's
yeah,
just
those are
cut
few
out.
and far between these days.
Yeah,
Streaming's got the upper hand.
I will say this though, I think that when this show does somehow get syndicated and finds its way on Netflix, it's probably going to perform a lot better.
Yeah.
But for now, it being on, I had to like download the CTV app and find it because I don't have cable. So I was like, I had to somehow.
Right. You're not an old
get
guy
it.
like Kevin. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's enjoyable. I would definitely. I'm not going to give away too much about it, but
Sure.
I would definitely say if you guys are into that sort of like cop humor kind of
Cop
aspect,
serial dramedy.
Yeah.
exactly. Ooh,
You
very
think
well done.
so you think it's going to get to a second season?
I think so.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and let's check in with Kevin. Kevin, what you been doing?
I got to be perfectly honest. This is a tough time of the year for a sports fan to watch regular television. My beloved Toronto Maple Leafs are back in action every 2 or 3 nights. So there's 3 hours of prime television viewing gone.
Right.
It's the postseason in baseball, and while the Blue Jays aren't there, I still like to follow along with that and watch those. So, basketball's back in a couple weeks. So this is a tough time. I know I said last episode that I was getting into season premieres and stuff, but again, that's 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. So I'm trying my best, but failing to keep up with shows. So Stumptown is just one of 1,000 shows that I'll probably never get around to seeing because there's just so much out there right now.
Right.
But yeah, it's sports time in the Hudson household.
It's kind of a good problem to have, though, right? Is too much to watch.
Although you feel there's a lot of that. What's the fear of missing out? FOMO.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on in TV
sure.
these days. There's just so much, but you do your best.
Very cool. Very cool.
And yourself.
Yeah, I've been, in our test episodes, we actually talked about Apple Arcade, which launched, I guess, a few weeks ago at this point. And let me tell you, I have not stopped playing What the Golf.
I beat it, baby.
You
100%.
beat it? No. See, and this is where... So I was playing Link's Awakening on Switch, and I've been kind of hardcore into that. And then I got to say I've put it down for What the Golf, for a mobile game. And I never thought I would say about a mobile game one of the best games of the year. But I really do feel that way. And I think with What the Golf, for those who don't know, What the Golf is it's a game that really, the description literally says, for people who hate golf, which, like, I'm not a huge fan of golf. I don't hate it, but, like, I wouldn't normally play a golf game, but this is not a golf game.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's funny. I showed my brother it the other day, who loves playing golf games on the mobile platform. But I'm like, try this one. It's different. And so, he does the first hole. He's like, it's like every other game. And then, the next hole, all of a sudden the club goes flying. And then the next time the whole, and he was
the
like,
person goes flying.
And he goes, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he was hooked right away. Like watching him get hooked in like 5 holes was awesome.
Yeah. The humor is incredible. I don't want to spoil too much because it's one of those games where you're kind of, the most of the joke is the surprise out of anything. So from there, I've really been digging. Like, one of my favorites is, like, near the early on part of the game, you're hitting the ball, and then eventually you're hitting the hole, and the hole has to fall into a giant one-shaped hole, and then it comes up hole in one, right? And
the puns after everything are,
and so many game references too.
Oh yeah,
a lot of really good game references. But yeah, no, I've been mainlining that because I've got a friend at work who I would say. I like to think that I might play more video games than you, Kevin. And I definitely like to think that I play more video games than this guy at work. And so he came up to me one day and I was playing Link's Awakening. He's like, oh yeah, you tried What the Golf? I 100%ed it. And I was like, okay, I got to 100% it. Like, I'm feeling it. Well, so now you told me.
Now you got that from me too.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, so I'll be up all night. Very cool. Well, that is what we've been doing. So let's move into the news.
It's all about the details.
All right. This first news story is from Ben Travis over at Empire Online. Since the surprise announcement that The Matrix is indeed being rebooted for a 4th installment, with Lana Wachowski returning to direct, according to Variety, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, that's a name for you, who played Black Manta in Aquaman, has been cast as one of the central figures in the new Matrix movie, joining Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. So, guys, what do you think this means for Keanu and Carrie in this next movie in terms of, do we think it's going to be more of maybe like a Han Solo passing the torch situation characters? Are we going to see less of them? What is your take on this?
How the hell do you even bring those two back?
Yeah.
I mean, I get Neo coming back in a sense. I mean, they tease it kind of at the end of that third one there, with the Oracle sitting there on the bench, and she says something about, he'll return when we need him.
Yeah.
Trinity gets impaled in the chest and dies and is just a human. So I don't understand how she's coming back, how they'll make that work in the first place.
Right.
So I'm perplexed by all of this.
Spoilers for The Matrix, but if you haven't seen it by
I think the interesting thing about the way The Matrix ended, especially in like the second one, which was Reloaded, when he goes and sees the architect and then he sees the multiple versions of himself, and like it's unchanged. It's not a different person. It's just him repeated. So they've kind of established that as this iteration of the Matrix just kind of keeps going, he's always the same and he always ends up in that same place. I hope that what this movie is exactly what you described, like a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Because as well as the movies did, the Animatrix and the video game did really, really well.
Absolutely. For expanding that lore and kind of building it out a little more. Yeah, we don't know yet who Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is playing.
I don't think it's even going to be relevant until you see the movie and understand who he is. Right?
I'm hoping, like it says central character. I'm hoping he's a villain because Have you guys ever seen the Netflix show The Get Down?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
It was only 2 seasons. I didn't watch the second season because I heard it was not great. But the first season, even if you just end at the first season, I think it's worth a watch. Just that one season, it's really, really fun. It's good, and it gets serious at times. But he plays the main villain in that series. So if he could reprise a villain role, I think he would be phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to watch it,
he is the villain in Aquaman as well,
right? So I guess
he doesn't have much to work with there. He's actually probably the weakest part of that movie.
I've never seen it, and he's not.
It's a little, There's very little to go with there. He's fine, but
or maybe he's not a villain because like the reality is he's already been a villain twice.
I mean,
right?
is he going to be somebody from Zion?
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
The population of Zion seemed
maybe a new
heavily,
Maybe he's the son of Morpheus.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I love that. Okay, cool. Let's move on to our next news story. This one from Samuel Gelman over at CBR.com. Len Weissman has signed on to direct Ballerina, a female-centric spin-off of the action franchise John Wick.
Man, I did not know where this story was going.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be written by the same person, Shay Hatton, who penned John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Len Weissman, by the way, is he's known for the Underworld series. So I think that kind of, dark, female-led sort of action movie, I think it'll fit. But I mean, were we looking for a spin-off series from this movie?
I personally am not a fan of the John Wick series. Like I love Keanu.
Yeah,
but
really.
I think the first movie is really, really good. But I think number 2 and number 3 are just like
the same.
They're more the same, right?
Yeah.
Like I was really underwhelmed with number 3, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's the better one."
I haven't seen 3 yet, but like the recommendations from friends I know and everything for people who did enjoy the series, they loved it.
Yeah,
the casting is.
I thought 3 was better than 2.
And before anybody worries that I'm just waiting for it to be free so I can steal it off the internet, I don't play those games. I'll be renting it on demand when it's available.
There you go.
Just to ease some worries out there.
But I think
I love the world they've created and don't think they've explored it enough.
Right.
Everything with the currency that they exchange and the hotels and all the rules and everything like that. And I think that they started to explore it, but not very much. It just became action, kill, kill.
Yeah.
Maybe if it keeps up that theme of action, but explores the world a little bit more, I'd be intrigued to see where it goes.
I agree with Kevin. I think that there's a lot of interest in like the universe that they've kind of built with John Wick, or the world, if you will. But there's just not enough explanation. And I could honestly see them doing like a Kingsman kind of thing where they do a prequel about like how it all started and where the currency came from.
A young Ian McShane.
Right. Well, and I think Ian McShane's a huge part of it, but apparently he's not even going to be in the TV series that they're doing.
They're doing a TV series too? Oh,
yeah. So,
God.
but that's where I kind of get into it, where it's like too much too quickly. And I'm worried if this is going to kind of be the same thing.
See, but at the same time, you say too quickly. Here's this Matrix movie, that we just talked about, coming out 15 years after the last one, and it's like, who still cares about this stuff?
Oh, a lot
of people.
Yeah, a lot of people
really
seem to be.
Are people really getting excited for this movie?
I think so, man.
Based on how bad 2 and 3 were. Because there's not many people out there who are fans of that franchise who went, the third one, that was solid.
No, but I think
the story
there's a huge population of that fan base that are forgiving.
Don't
they're
get
a
me
little
wrong.
more forgiving of.
I'm a big Matrix guy.
Yeah,
that was right at the right time for me. Young teen, everything like that. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Right now, everything copies it, and so it's tough to see just how cool the Matrix really was when it first came out. But that franchise left on a sour note. So this better come back with a splash. And it's not like either of the Wachowskis have contributed much good content since that to make you think, oh yeah, they just need another crack at that. So anyways, I think you got to stay, if it's relevant, keep it going, right?
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that I kind of agree with both of you. Like, I think Nate's right. Like, I think they're really just doing a big push for everything John Wick because it is successful. But I think that can also be a little bit
but
of a
you
negative.
guys don't seem to have a problem with 3 Marvel movies and a year and 4 shows coming out and within a year and stuff. That seems like oversaturation if I've ever heard.
But they're
Yeah.
all different, right? Like they're all going to be different. Like I see the, and they're all unique stories on their own that I'm just
Right.
interested in watching. Whereas like this is all for the, like it's all for the motive of like drawing more attention to the John Wick franchise and that world and stuff. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think, as you said, is it something that people have been asking for? No, but people have been asking for more Matrix. Like to
Right.
Kevin's point, a lot of fans were left sour with the final film.
Yeah.
Just kind of very cop-outy, right? Like just how it all ended. But I know that fans who love the Matrix know that there's more in that universe to explore. Whereas the anchor point for the John Wick movies is John Wick.
It's Keanu.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's like, has anyone really asked about like all the other things that are going on? Sure,
I
maybe.
have.
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, I know.
But I think the series, the TV series, and how well that does.
And what's the
is
TV
going
series
to-
based on really quickly?
It's not John Wick, and it's going to just mostly be kind of what you were interested in, and like all the different
very
hotel
cool.
owners and different things like that, and kind of focus on multiple different
I
characters.
think the success of either of these, the Matrix movie and
Mm-hmm.
this John Wick spinoff, will be if it's any good.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can only carry yourself putting out stuff with a label on it for so long before it's I need quality or I'm out of here.
And I think it needs to be different. To Justin's point, 2 and 3 John Wick were more of the same, which if you want more John Wick, it fulfills that need. But I think at this point, after 3 movies, we want something different.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to our final news story. Disney is reportedly looking to shell out a lot of money for Spider-Man from Sony. This from Kevin Berwick at movieweb.com, who writes, thanks to Holland's extra work and the support of MCU fans, Spider-Man is back for the time being. But it appears now that Disney wants full control and is willing to pay Sony up to $5 billion for Peter Parker. Guys, is this actually going to happen?
I certainly hope so, but I think it's funny because I think we've talked about this in the past. If something like this were to happen, they would have to pay more than what they paid for both Marvel and Star Wars. Because when they bought Marvel first, it was for $4 billion.
Yeah.
Right. And then they bought Star Wars for close to $5 billion. And that's a whole franchise.
It's a whole franchise. And how much did they pay for? Do we know how much they did for Fox and everything?
I think that's in the high, like 60 billion or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
That was a lot of money.
It was because that's all we're talking.
Your multiple
Yeah,
things,
we're-
right? Your
yeah,
avatars. And
Yeah, and it's good that they closed that
things.
before they got into the Disney Plus
Yeah.
streaming,
But
and that was what
$5
this
billion
was
for one and is this just Peter Parker, or do we think this is this the
They would
Spider-Man
own
cinematic
everything
universe?
for that much. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, it is more than
Okay.
just one character. It is
Yeah.
a universe.
They've
in and
got
of itself
they're going to
that
redo Venom, hopefully.
You would imagine they would just
Right.
scrap everything else.
They could still bring Tom Hardy in. He wasn't that bad.
Oh, he was a great Venom, but
Yeah.
I would recast it all
Right.
fresh.
But get
fresh,
Green
fresh.
Goblin,
That's why
you've
it's
got
it's
your
just like I
Electro,
don't want
yeah.
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. As
Right.
much as I like him, I don't want him in there, especially not if it's a one-off and then he's officially done.
Yeah.
His closing in Logan was good, gone.
Yeah.
So very much the same. If you're going to get this property and you're going to reboot it or like own the whole universe and be able to do whatever you want with all the characters' rights and everything like that, fresh.
Yeah.
And I love Tom Hardy.
Right.
But I think this is the only way this is going to work long term. They
Right.
can't just keep going. Okay, are we going to have him after this movie? Are we going to have him after this movie? It's like signing your franchise player,
Right.
on your sports team for one more year, and then you hope, is he going to be good enough? Is he going to make more money, less money, whatever it is? You lock him up for 8 years, long term. You own
Yeah.
They got to go big. Get this thing over with. Get Sony the hell out of this story altogether,
Yeah.
and just own the rights, because they set this character up
Yeah.
to be kind of the integral leader of the whole sort of Avengers, the whole cinematic universe at this point, right?
Right.
He's the new Tony Stark. He's the new everything. So
Yeah.
get him out of there, and just run with it.
Well, it kind of goes back to like the other story that I was reading recently about Apple wanting to buy Sony for
really?
their own streaming service,
Wow.
almost similar to how Disney bought Fox.
Is Sony actually going to sell Spider-Man?
No, I don't think. I think they're going to sell everything if they sell.
Really?
No, like
Right, the whole universe, but they're actually going to.
I don't understand if they're finding themselves in like financial debt, like content debt is what they call it, where they're spending more money on making stuff and they're not getting the return of investment.
Right.
Spider-Man is their largest grossing film, like Far From Home.
Right.
Thank you, Marvel.
Which is why it's interesting to hear that Apple might potentially step in and buy Sony. And the other caveat was that they were just going to hand over Spider-Man to Disney because of their relationship. Apple and Disney are very close in terms of what they do, and they would just hand it over at no cost. But I don't know if that's going anywhere.
I don't know about a no cost.
Right.
I don't think Apple will be like $5 billion. No, you keep it, bud. No,
I guess the
big deal.
weird part about that is like they're technically competing companies now, right? I mean, Bob Iger
stepped off the board of
directors at Apple, right? So now that, and I think a lot of that has to do with Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus, right?
Of course, if you're a board member on a company that has a similar sort of product that you are, then it's a conflict of interest, right? So it makes sense, right? But yeah, I certainly hope that they do. I hope they strike up some sort of deal and we can just have, because I'd love to see like they've announced Blade, but I'd love to see Morbius in a Blade series. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of like a counter to Blade, and then they ended up becoming friends and working together kind of thing. And, it'd just be really interesting to see some of those other universe characters like Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, all of them, Doc Ock interacting with certain characters. Like, it'd just be awesome. It'd be awesome. It would complete it.
I think in the long run, this split relationship of the character where he's sort of bouncing between, production companies or whatever, or, is detrimental to the brand, over time. You can't have these little, Venom is in the universe, but in a side movie, and this character's over here. And, the cohesion of the Marvel universe is what makes it work. And so get it all over here, and it's all under the same umbrella, and it's all being orchestrated and planned out by the same minds that are planning everything out. That's the only way this is going to work long term without cheapening some of it. So get it done. Let's move on.
Let's move on right into trailer time.
It's trailer time.
So guys, the first kind of, I think, real trailer, was there I don't know if there was a teaser trailer for it or not, of the Jungle, or it's actually just called Jungle Cruise, directed by Jaume Collet Serra. This is starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emily Blunt, Jesse Plemons, which I was delighted to see in this trailer, and Paul Giamatti, based on the Disney ride. Guys, what did you guys think of this trailer?
As a massive Disney head, Magic Kingdom fan, everything like that, it's one of my favorite rides. I'm stoked, and the trailer looks wicked.
Yeah,
I'm in.
I liked how in the trailer, you have The Rock taking this, group of obviously wealthy people, and he's creating these moments for them.
It's the actual ride, and even to the point where they literally reference the waterfall, the back of water, and it's like right from the ride, and it was
and there better be puns out the butt in this movie,
so
at least for the
happy.
first half. When they're doing this shit.
I love it too when they have the native people like shooting arrows, and then one of the arrows like comes close, and he's like, ease it up, and then they're like, oh, okay, sorry. I thought I thought it was really funny to kind of like at least just put a little bit of that of like what makes the ride so much fun into the movie. And then obviously there's this epic adventure that seems to come.
Did anybody else get like Mummy vibes from this?
Absolutely.
Yes. With the comedy.
And then the action adventure set in the age of archaeology and that sort of thing. Like that very much seems like that's what this is.
And I also think it's kind of a little bit like Pirates. Like it has some of those like aesthetical sort of tone and look to it.
I think the Rock's character, I like that he, even from this trailer, I got enough different from him than from his other jungle movie that he was in.
Jumanji.
Oh yeah, he's not a Smolder Bravestone or whatever.
Right, or whatever the guy's name is. Yeah, so it's like he's got enough. There's already enough differences there. I mean, it's still The Rock. It's still going to be macho and eyebrows and fighting, but I think the aspect of his character trying to make money all the time, I think it's really it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
The only thing I'll say about this trailer that I noticed was, in terms of something I didn't like, had to have been you mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean and some other Disney live action movies. being had to be some of the effects and some of the cuts in this trailer showed some action scenes, and I was like, what did I just look at? It was just a blurry mess of CG that I don't really know what I saw in certain aspects of it.
Context helps those things a lot,
Sure.
I think. So you stretch out the scenes, and hopefully the shots are longer and they're not these quick cuts. And I think those things always look better in the full
movie
scope of it rather than these quick cuts. So I and again, as somebody who's not a huge trailer guy, because they give away things, I didn't feel like they spoiled any of the action elements.
Right. Who the enemies were, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, like we didn't even see Giamatti in the trailer, right?
No.
So,
yeah,
cool.
so I wonder who he's going to play. Talking about this next trailer, Earthquake Bird. This is directed by Wash Westmoreland. I don't know if anyone knows. Do you guys know?
No.
No, I thought that was a very interesting name there at the end of the trailer. I was like, who?
Yeah, right. So this is starring Alicia Vikander, Riley Coff, and Jack Houston. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. A young woman living in Tokyo becomes the prime suspect of a horrific murder when her friend goes missing in the wake of a tumultuous love triangle. I thought I was going to get more out of this trailer. As soon as I saw the name Ridley Scott attached to produce it, I thought it was going to be something different. And to me, it looks like 50 Shades of Grey in Tokyo. And I don't know if I'm for it.
Yeah, or what was the one with Ben Affleck there?
Gone Girl?
Gone Girl,
Yeah.
right? Based on a novel. The Last Girl on the Train or whatever that was. It looks like one of these books I didn't read, movie I care less about sort of deals. That did nothing for me.
Justin, what are your thoughts?
Looks interesting. It looks like more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Very aligned with
With lots of
murder.
murder.
I think I'm interested to see what it's all about. It's a Netflix movie.
Right, but it's doing that thing again, like The Irishman. I guess they're doing more of that now, where it's releasing in theaters and on Netflix. And I think on November
7th, was it?
Was it 7th?
It was early.
Yeah, something like that. Is that this year though, or 2020? IMDb was showing 2020, so I don't know if
I think it's
that's
February, isn't it?
okay.
It says 2019 on IMDb.
Oh,
so.
okay. Maybe I had the wrong date attached for my previous doc. That's okay.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
it's
So it's coming out soon. I don't know if, it's not for me.
No, I'll pass that one.
Next one is, and this one actually got me a little more interested. Onward. We finally got a full trailer for Onward after I think maybe one or two teaser trailers. Directed by Dan Scanlon. I mean, you know him from Incredibles 2, Monsters University. He did that one as well. Starring Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Octavia Spencer, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and of course, John Ratzenberger, because he's got to be in everything Pixar, right? This comes out March 6, 2020, and it's like a suburban fantasy animated movie. I definitely got a lot more out of this trailer, I think, than the teaser in terms of what the storyline actually was going to be. But what are your guys' hype levels for this one?
This just seems like such a departure for Pixar. It doesn't look like a Pixar movie.
At all.
It looks like a DreamWorks movie.
Right.
I agree.
It freaked me out.
So I haven't really gotten any positive vibes from these trailers so far.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that the added element of the father and them basically, it's like Weekend at Pixar's. Like that is like, okay, I can see where the Pixar humor is going to shine through with that element.
That sentence may have just convinced me that I want to see this movie.
I'll see it for that, I think.
Yeah.
It still isn't hooking me. I don't like how it looks. I don't know. It's weird. It's just different.
Yeah, the animation definitely looks more DreamWorks, Sony Pictures style.
Yeah.
Like for lack of better words, a knockoff of a Pixar movie.
Right.
But the interesting thing about the way Pixar kind of does things is kind of like this like merging of worlds. So to see like elves and unicorns and stuff like that in this sort of like
Modern suburban landscape.
Yeah, in a modern suburban landscape looks kind of intriguing, and that to me, like Kevin says, it's kind of that Pixar humor.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a history to them, to the background of them, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that's explored. But yeah, I wasn't really like, oh yes, I can't wait for that movie after seeing this trailer. I was just I had a little bit more questions.
It's the most underwhelming Pixar trailer I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it reminded me of when I was seeing the trailers for the first time for The Good Dinosaur, and I was just kind of watching and I was like, okay, I just don't know if it's going to make me cry. Like for me, A good Pixar movie needs to make me cry. If I don't cry, I don't think it's
And
a
did
good
Good
Pixar
Dinosaur
movie.
do it?
No, man.
Oh, I love that movie.
Really?
I love that
Oh,
one. Yeah.
no, that was a cheap Lion King knockoff.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I
Interesting.
agree.
All right. Well, that lighter week for trailers. We'll have more for you next week. But let's dive in to our topic of the show. This is movie combat.
Two movies enter. One movie leaves. This is Movie Kombat.
All right. This is Movie Combat, where we pit two movies against each other and debate which one is truly a better film. And for this movie combat, in the red corner, you'll be defending Jurassic World. And in the blue corner, you'll be defending Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. In the red corner, we have weighing in at 18,000 pounds, the tall, dark, and loud one. He puts boxing in fun boxing. Just the Jedi Lawrence. Jeez. And in the blue corner, weighing in at 56 metric tons, first of his name and king of the sandals, full of hot takes, it's Kevin the Rage Hudson.
I will crush him.
Okay, boys, I want a clean fight. There will be no crosstalk in my ring. Our first round will be sell it. You have 3 minutes on the clock to sell this movie to me. Fight!
Okay, so Jurassic World, the first of a new franchise of films that Universal is coming out with. And I believe that this is the better of the two films because it takes us back to that beautiful place of where we met these dinosaurs and saw the park for the first time. It is the realization of the success of what Jurassic Park could be. But there's also some very light meta, I guess you would call it metaphorical sort of referencing. Right off the bat, when we meet Bryce Dallas Howard's character, she is meeting or pitching with a bunch of reps for a very high-end company that want to invest in the next big dinosaur. And that's kind of like Hollywood. Hollywood is the dinosaur. Hollywood is always looking for the next big thing. And it's kind of funny because we're watching a film that's just taking us back and it's hitting all the similar sort of beats to Jurassic Park, but it's a different time. We're seeing a different park and it's just littered with advertisements everywhere. We see this park just blown up with, Starbucks and all of these different things. It's fully in its full success. But what we're introduced to in this movie is this sort of commentary on, is it good to be new? Is it always right to have something new? Or do we still just appreciate the classics? I'm going to jump ahead real quick here and say the ending summarizes it for me. Because at the end, when we have this vicious new great dinosaur destroying everything and everything looks scary and we don't know. It's the two classics, the non-manufactured, the pure original, the OG Tyrannosaurus Rex. You got a raptor. They take this sucker down with a little help from their lovely whale dinosaur. I don't know what that whale dinosaur is. And I also think even going further, the other character that I would say that really kind of symbolizes this sort of very meta appreciation for the classics is Jake Johnson's character. He's wearing the classic t-shirt, right? And Bryce Dallas Howard says, where'd you get that from? Oh, I got it on eBay for $175. That classic, that park was like classic. And that's how everyone feels like when they're watching the movie. The original movie was a classic. You can't really go back.
The original was a classic. And so instead of carrying on from that and moving forward, they just tried to redo it poorly.
All right, Kevin. Listen, we're not in trash it just yet. We're not in that second round.
I get it, but I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes giving you a plot synopsis because I don't think that's a very strong argument for why my movie is better.
All right, Kevin, what movie are you defending?
I am defending, of course, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the far superior sequel to its inferior first film. They relaunched the franchise, and I think in doing so, it needed to be new. It needed to be fresh. And what better way to do that than finally taking us off the island? I know we got a sneak peek of that at the end of Lost World, and they had the T-Rex running wild, but that was a hugely underexplored and underdeveloped sub point that they just instantly moved away from for the third one and went right back to the island. And then what do they do in the fourth one? Right back to the island. So it was so nice in Fallen Kingdom to get off the island and see these dinosaurs in a new setting, a new environment, and a new context. And I think that's what largely makes Fallen Kingdom the superior film. It's different. At least it's different. I think you're absolutely insane if you're going to try and sit here and argue that either movie is good, because I don't think either are particularly good, but where Fallen Kingdom reigns supreme is in that it at least tried to be different.
All right. Ding, ding, ding. Let's go ahead and move into our second round. This is Trash It. It's time to get dirty. You have 3 minutes maximum to destroy the other's film and fight.
So, as my opponent Kevin has outlined, it was different. It was a different movie. Only that instead of being caged on an island, they were just caged in a giant house of horrors.
Cool. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. And while it didn't hit the ball out of the park, it at least got a double.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't foul out like the first Jurassic World ended up doing. Just a boring rehash of the original with none of the charm, none of the magic, none of the fun and brilliance that Spielberg brought to it. Trevorrow is a garbage director. There's a reason he got booted from Star Wars. Your movie can make all the money in the world, but if it's no good, don't you be touching any of our decent, important intellectual property there, Mr. Trevorrow. You go make your flop of a movie, Book of Henry or whatever it is. We'll let the pros handle the tricky stuff here.
So I'd be interested to hear then how he feels about something like The Force Awakens, which also...
We're not talking about Star Wars here. We're talking about Jurassic World.
Yes, it's absolutely true. But it is in the same vein, hitting the beats to bring us back. So we have that reminiscent feeling of what it was like to be on that island in a different period of time.
I've done it 3 times.
In a time when we've enjoyed, when the park is actually a success, security, technology has gotten better, and we still see that they can't control it. They still can't control it. That's still the one flaw in it. And I agree that it does feel very familiar to Jurassic Park, but I think that that's done with purpose, and it also has layers and layers of elements that really call into question, is it okay to revisit these things? And to your point, do we make it different, or do we like the classics? All the characters seem to really kind of embody elements from the past films. But I think at the end of it, it's kind of more of a commentary on just Hollywood films.
Did he bring up characters and then reference Jurassic World? There's 0 characters. There's no character development. The characters are flat and boring and one-dimensional. At least in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I mean, both movies waste Chris Pratt. He's unlikable. He's uncharismatic. So both movies fail there. But at least Jurassic Fallen Kingdom manages to bring out some humor from the dinosaurs. If you're going to make a movie about dinosaurs, why can't they be the most interesting thing? And those dinosaurs are probably the most enjoyable part of it. You've got the Stygimaluk. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. That's the headbutting one.
Okay.
He's adorable. He's fun and not overused. He's only in it for a couple minutes, but he's got a great little sequence of events, and that sort of thing is fun. And they made the dinosaurs in this movie the most sympathetic characters in the whole thing. That scene with the Brachiosaurus is just heartbreaking, where he's left on the island in the cloud of smoke.
I teared up.
That's the most emotion you've
Likewise.
gotten out of a Jurassic Park movie since the first one. I challenge to say. And, you know, the relationship with Blue is explored a little bit more, and you see the friendship between him and Owen. I mean, they at least explore some dimension of a character, even if it's through bloody dinosaurs, far more than they do in the first one.
Sure, but I would also argue that you have to reestablish the universe. You have to reintroduce people to this new new universe of, or this new world of where Jurassic Park is now. Because when we last saw the park, it was abandoned, it was gone. They failed at actually opening it because the first movie was a test run. That's what we were watching. We were watching a bunch of people kind of experience the park as a test run. This is actually experience the park. What if they were successful? What if they figured out the kinks? They actually successfully opened up the park. They got all the endorsements that they needed to actually have a successful, make money off of the park. And they have like bunches, a whack load of people coming in day to day just to experience what Jurassic Park is.
So now
It
you've
is
got
the
a whole bunch
realization.
of red shirts running around just to get picked off by dinosaurs. That's all that adds to it. I mean, at least you're intimate and familiar with the characters in the original Jurassic Park, so you care when the guy's taking a poop and gets taken out by the T-Rex, and you care when your central characters are when pterodactyls are swooping in, picking up random people. There's no attachment to them. So I get what you're saying, that it was cool to see the park open. So that's 5 minutes of a movie. What is the rest of the movie? Nothing but rehashes of the original.
But isn't that
poorly done.
Isn't that what Jurassic Park is about? Isn't that always about like how humans can't control these animals? Because I think if you, based on your statement, you could easily argue
if that's the
in
point,
the Fallen
then
Kingdom, similar sort of thing, right? It is, they can't control them because inevitably that House of Terror just breaks out, right?
Exactly. This whole movie was the setup for the third. Now we're moving into really, truly new territory. Jurassic World.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing is supposed to be building up to. They've built it Jurassic World, and now we're going to see the world in a new Jurassic period.
And in that instance right there, you answered your own question.
I didn't ask a question.
But you answered the idea that you have to be able to reintroduce, if you're getting towards this whole dinosaurs in the world, you start at the park, you move into the second wave where they're starting to get out of the park and they're starting to be turned into weapons and monetized. And like that whole element's really weird. But anyways, that in itself is just an exact reason of how we're getting to where we need to be in the third one. Because I think there'll be more appreciation for the second one, hopefully, if they do a good job with the third one.
All right. We're going to move into our third and final round. Wrap it. You're going to have just under 2 minutes to give us your final thoughts on why your movie reigns supreme and really, really, really bring it home. And I think in this instance, if we could, let's defend maybe not the third movie in the series that hasn't come out yet. Let's defend your movie, Jurassic World, or Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Fight.
I think to wrap it up, I would say that for me, and I think for anyone who actually does enjoy this movie, it's the nostalgia piece. It is kind of that rehash. It is those elements that kind of take us back to the familiarity of the park, but seeing it in a new setting where it's actually working. And then I also think that the other added element of really the commentary on Hollywood and the movies, like, the way she references the dinosaur, and saying something like, oh, you know how people are, a dinosaur, you just can't get by with just a dinosaur nowadays. You need something new, bigger teeth, bigger all around. That's kind of like how Hollywood operates, right?
Exactly.
Like you
need something new.
You need something new.
You need something new.
And they
like
brought
a dinosaur in a haunted house. And you bring in a talented, successful horror movie director. I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, but he did The Orphanage, all about mood and shadows and tension. And he brought that forward with the dinosaur in the house.
Not enough, though.
It could have been explored more, but again, at least it was different. Listen, we're not sitting here debating whether Citizen Kane truly is the most influential film in film history.
Right. We should be wrapping it up
sitting
with
in a car deciding what's worse, being trapped in this car with a stinky fart or an Uber driver with BO. Both situations suck. But if I had to pick between one, I want something that's different. Everybody's BO smells a little different. So I got a different whiff of BO. A terrible analogy to finish it off here. But what I'm saying is, at least, they both stink, but at least Fallen Kingdom, whether it succeeded or not, tried something different. The original Jurassic World is nothing but a poor rehash of the first Jurassic Park. We tried something different. It might have failed. I actually enjoyed it far more than most people. I mean, you look at the IMDb scores, all in favor of Jurassic World. Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, IGN, all prefer Jurassic World over Fallen Kingdom, but I think they're missing
Nostalgia.
Sure, nostalgia, but how long can nostalgia carry on for? If I want nostalgia for Jurassic Park, I'll watch Jurassic Park every day of the week because it's far superior. But if I want something different, because I've never seen a dinosaur hunting people in a haunted house style fashion, it was different. I think the idea of selling dinosaurs for military purposes is a crazy idea that was probably underexplored. But I think they tried to look at different angles here instead of what happens when dinosaurs chase people around a park. And so that is why I think Fallen Kingdom is the superior effort.
All right. That was a clean and honorable fight. I have to say, both of your arguments are really strong. And I came into this leaning more towards Justin's side of Jurassic World. But Kevin, your argument for wanting something different and the parallels we're talking about with one of my favorite series, Star Wars, and looking at the concepts of The Force Awakens being a rehash of Episode 4, and how Episode 8, with what Rian Johnson did, was so different. I'm having such a tough time here deciding between the two, because in my mind, if I have an argument for one series, I would need to defend that argument for the other of Force Awakens versus Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And so looking at it from the lens of Jurassic World, yes, having something different, I absolutely love. And I think that having so many Jurassic Park movies up until that point, but I gotta say that nostalgia, it cuts so hard into me. But I agree with you, Kevin. Something different. I just think that they didn't do that enough. I think that movie, I still will go on the record as saying that movie felt like two separate movies.
Correct.
With the first half being what we get more of from Jurassic World, the first one, and with the second half of the movie being that different, what they're probably going to be doing more with the third one. And so it is because of that my final ruling as the winner of this first semi-annual movie combat goes over to Jurassic World and Just the Jedi JLAW.
This is absolutely appalling. You're telling me the reason you chose Jurassic World over Fallen Kingdom is because of nostalgia for the first movie. That's an unfair advantage that I simply don't have. I'm sorry there isn't another Haunted Mansion dinosaur movie I could harken back to bring out those nostalgic...
Reiterate, it was more the fact that they didn't do enough different in that movie. To your point, different is good, different is better.
Yeah, but you're like literally giving him arguments now. You're arguing things that he didn't even argue. So how can he win the fight? Is this what movie you like better, or who argues their movie better? Thank you very much.
All right.
Let us know in some comments on the Twitter there, folks, who you think won that fight. I think we'll see a different result.
All right. Definitely, let us know in the comments. Sound off in the comments below. This isn't a YouTube video, but email us at wearegeekcentric. That is my final ruling as the judge. Kevin, when you're a judge, you'll get to make your own decision.
Oh, I've already made my decision, I think.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. That is Movie Combat. Let's move on to our last and final segment of the show, Watch Club. In our previous episode for Watch Club, we asked you to check out I Am Mother, directed by Grant Sputor on Netflix. So hopefully you did that. If not, pause this episode, go and watch it, and come right back. And we're going to kind of start with our initial thoughts, then move a little bit into spoilers, and then finally land on a final score. Kevin, your initial thoughts on this? I'm kind of afraid to ask you first, I think it's Justin that Justin messaged me 30 minutes into watching it. It's I'm watching this terrible movie.
He seemed absolutely miserable.
Right. So
I'm watching this piece of garbage or whatever he said to us.
Let's start with Kevin's thoughts, because I want to start on a high note, and then maybe we'll move into...
Okay, so I will break down why I feel the way I feel as we progress through our conversation here, but sure. I didn't mind it. It was an interesting little movie. Yeah. A little movie being the key word. It doesn't have much significance or small resonance. I think that was one of the more charming parts about it. I was actually quite impressed by that element. I walked away going, not bad. Yeah. Not bad.
Cool. Justin?
Didn't like it
at all.
I didn't like it at all. I thought it was very like I
Really?
think
At all?
at the beginning I was very intrigued.
Yeah.
But I kind
At the beginning, how long is the beginning of this movie for you when you hated it after 30 minutes?
Well, I think it was after I kind of started putting it all together and figuring it out. Like, we'll get into more details, but I think it's very literal and it doesn't necessarily leave too much to the imagination.
Yeah.
You kind of know how everything is going to play out, and I
It's-
think I got
you can
that
guess
after she transitioned from a child into more of I guess a teenager or a bit of more of an adult,
Yeah.
where she was getting more of the questions. And then as soon as I started seeing that, I was like, okay, that's the first thing that I knew that was going to end up happening.
Yeah.
You kind of obviously that's what's going to happen. But I think just in the trajectory of the way things kind of turned out, it was very on the nose and a little just too like fragmented.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as far as it being easy to guess in terms of certain aspects of it, I agree with you. My initial thoughts, I got a lot of her vibes from the mother's voice and kind of the interaction between her and the daughter. But I think is a much better representation of a relationship between humans and AI. I still like what they did with this, but I just felt as though, in our first episode, we talked about Joker and how it plays games with your mind. And I do think that this movie did a good enough job. Yes, there was some foreshadowing that came in, but I think it did a good enough job making me wonder, throughout a majority of the movie, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy.
Yeah, I thought it played a cool game of sort of going, well, what is going on here really? What is the cause of everything that's led these two characters to be where they are, and what is going on in the outside world, and why and how and all those. I was asking those questions as I went along.
So moving into spoilers, Justin, if you got a point, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I don't. But if we're moving into spoilers, I'd like to.
Well, I just want to know, do you guys think there were too many twists in this? I mean,
yes.
Like it kind of did start to feel like twist and then twist for twist's sake.
I think that's what
Too many twists.
That's where it lost me, was that
Yeah.
last half an hour where you were getting the answers and it was just answer.
Right.
Nothing had a chance to simmer a bit. You didn't have a chance to think about it. It was just like, this is the bad guy. No, they're the bad guy. No, they're the bad guy. It was like,
Right. The pacing was a little bit,
and it just
off at that
ended.
point.
And it just ended, eh?
Yeah.
She's
That
just like,
last shot.
please, mother, no, don't do it. Okay, fine, kill me and I'm out of here. And, you're on your own. And then
Yeah.
it's over. It was really?
I mean, I think as soon as it opened up and she was outside, I was immediately, I think I was immediately more intrigued by the world of it, and that made me want to see more of it. And so when it did abruptly end, I was pretty disappointed because I felt like maybe this should be a series.
I could have almost seen
on
it better
Netflix.
as a
as a
six-part series.
one season short
Yeah,
little.
6 little episodes would have helped you explore that second part of the movie that they really took their time in that first hour and a half of setting up the world and setting up how the dynamic between mother and daughter worked and everything like that. And then all of a sudden they bring in this new element and it rushed to the finish line without much,
Like they ran out of time.
Yeah.
It just looked sloppy in that aspect. Like,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It was.
It felt sloppy or it looked sloppy?
It both felt and looked
Really?
sloppy. I just mean, like, in terms of, like, Kevin brings up good points. Like, as you start to learn things,
Yeah.
you're not given the time for it to kind of like simmer, and there's just so much to learn, which is why I agree it should have been explored more as like a series,
Yeah.
rather than a full-fledged movie where things are just kind of sped up.
Yeah.
Right.
Apparently that's a lot of the critique, not to interrupt, but there's a series called Hannah, and there was a movie that was released a few years before it. I haven't gotten to check it out yet. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
We
if I'm not
watched Hannah, right?
Did you watch the Hannah series or movie?
The movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen either. But apparently a lot of the critiques with the Hannah movie, while it's still a good movie, was that it should have been more a series. And then it got turned into that. So, I mean, that would be nice if that happened with this.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Yeah,
right.
probably not.
because it was just a Netflix, but I think this is kind of like the problem with certain Netflix films is that like they just produce things based on the idea of
Yeah.
them, and they don't really invest in terms of like the quality of the work. Like this was, it was a very rushed kind of compressed story.
I mean, I thought it was all really well put together. I thought the set pieces were really
Yeah.
really well done. I think the mother character, like, she looked
there's-
incredible.
I feel like there's a difference though in terms of like it looking really good, like in terms of the way it's shot,
Yeah.
set design, and all that. That it scores 10 on all of that.
For an independent little movie,
Yeah.
it was quite impressive.
IMDb
But-
says the only thing this director's actually really done. I
Is
mean,
this.
he's got a few others, but
yeah.
No, this
But-
is about it.
Yeah.
And I think it shows a lot of promise, right? I mean,
For
but
what's
he
to
kind
come.
of
because he
reminds
didn't
me.
write it.
Yeah.
You know.
He did. He wrote the story.
did he?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote the story. He also, I think he wrote the screenplay. This is I think this is a bit of a personal.
Oh, he was
project.
one of them. There were two other writers.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think.
But getting into spoilers,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Oh, I wanted to talk about one thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly the very end of the movie. So definitely spoilers. When the mother, the mother who reveals she's an AI and she's now in another robot body, as signified by a different color, she walks into that
Shipping
container, and the woman is there.
Hilary
And
Swank,
Hilary
yeah.
Swank, and which also, can we talk about Hilary Swank? I thought she did.
I usually don't like her.
Yeah,
She was quite good in this.
I thought she was good. You didn't?
I mean, I didn't like anything about the character and what it did to the movie.
Sure.
But I thought she was quite good in it.
Yeah. Do you think
she was underutilized.
She was underutilized.
She
Yeah.
She was in it for
Doesn't even have a name.
yeah. Well, yeah, 'cause they
Woman.
call her woman.
But I think
Yeah.
that was part of the. I think that's part of the charm of the movie is
Right,
daughter, mother, woman,
Right. Okay.
and just establishing those characters. But when she goes into that shipping container and presumably kills her, I guess so. Was that revealed? Because I was a little confused at the end. So that was revealed that she was one of the clones that had gotten away. Because when I'm watching the movie, the entire time I'm thinking, hold on a second, I am mother. Is this the woman is actually the mother of the daughter? Like something happened there? Because halfway through the movie, we discover that there are a bunch of failed little girls, and that the sequence of us seeing presumably this one girl growing up is actually different test subjects that the mother is working towards, and,
Yes,
and
right.
she had killed them. And you see that scene of the daughter go into that furnace and find a jawbone and freak out. And I thought that was a little underexplored. She kind of freaked out for half a second and then it was gone. But I think at the very end, I guess what they were going for, and I guess it could have been clearer, was that because she said you had a purpose, and I think that woman was supposed to be the original test subject that got away.
I don't think so, because
No.
they didn't establish enough. Like she was surprised to see this robot. Like
Yeah.
if she
Yeah.
was
It
part
was
of
one of those, like, she's lying to herself. Like, if she's the way she's acting, like it would be weird
No,
the way
she
she
didn't know it.
interacted
She
with
didn't
the
know it.
robot.
No, yeah.
She was surprised to see the
Because
robot
now
there.
that opens up a whole new thing that I hadn't thought of. Because the one thing that threw me off was you see the days, and it's like 0 days since extinction, 1 day since extinction, and then when the little girl has grown up into the the daughter that we follow through the rest of the movie, it says 13,000 some odd days,
Right.
and that's 37 years. I've just done the math because it struck me as weird, and then I just completely
is the-
forgot about it until you said this.
So is the first subject, the one that we see at the very beginning that she waits for, is that
no,
the woman?
no, I don't think so,
No.
because
Oh,
I
that
think-
would have been a pretty cool thing that
So
they
maybe
could
I
have
should have written this
disguised.
movie.
They
Yeah,
could
like-
have disguised that better.
Yeah.
if they had disguised it, and if they had given Hilary Swank's character a
Yeah.
purpose of why she was there,
Yeah.
it's like she just stumbled there,
Right.
and then she knew that it was a fortress of some kind.
Well, yeah, and they're trying to create intrigue, right? Like, is it like, oh, is she actually secretly trying to get in here to steal the supplies for her people?
Right.
Are they trying to kill the
Or is
robot
she
so they
just
can
trying?
move in?
Or is she has a mother complex and she's just trying to get a daughter that she never had or was taken from her?
Right. They
Right.
set up this possibility of so many things, and then it literally turns into nothing.
Yeah.
How did she get shot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Unless Mother lied and the robots do use guns, like
Right.
they never really go there.
So again, this is where we kind of get back to how much greater would this have been if this was episode 1 and episode 2 was following the backstory of the woman,
Sure,
right? Or something like that.
I just think again the uncertainty of certain elements that we're all discussing here just
Yeah.
show the lack of clarity that the narrative actually
Yeah.
had, right?
Yeah.
So it's just wasn't clear and concise about that. That's a really interesting point. I actually didn't notice that though. So that means then that girl,
Yeah.
daughter, was actually not the original that we would have seen
Correct.
from
No,
day one.
yeah,
right?
because that's why we saw the bones and the
Yeah,
the
And
No,
the
now it
scene
makes
where
sense.
she, the
It
scene
makes
where she
sense.
sees the failed
Yep.
subjects, and,
Yeah. Yep.
and
Yeah.
she says that line like "You killed them" or something.
Yeah.
I think though, I guess it wouldn't work if they were clones because then, I mean, how are you using? Can you? I don't know if you can use clones to repopulate the world because if they're the same genetic,
you'd have a lot of trouble there.
there'd
right?
be a lot of trouble
Yeah.
there. So I don't know if that would work. So I mean, those are initial thoughts and spoilers and discussion. Let's move into our last portion of this here, our final score. Kevin, what do you give it?
Okay. I think there was a lot of promise to it. I mean, this is a pretty tired and overused trope in sci-fi movies. This whole human artificial intelligence relationship.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was strikingly original in what they were presenting to us. You know, it's very Matrixy, where the robots are using humans for a purpose of their own. Whatever. You know, we've obviously seen this a whole bunch of times. But I think for a Netflix movie, you know, a sort of smaller indie sci-fi sort of thing, I think a lot of it was well executed. Again, I thought the set pieces, Mother herself was a fantastic robot character.
Yeah, Rose Byrne.
Like
Shout out to Rose
she did a
Byrne, right?
really great
Yeah.
job there with the voice acting. I think the young lady who played daughter was really good in it. To be essentially alone on screen for 90% of that movie, you know, interacting with nothing but a robot. I think she did a great job. I was actually quite hooked on this movie, and I think the introduction of the other characters sort of threw the movie for a loop, especially when it was underwhelming in terms of its payoff. I just don't think it was developed enough to succeed.
Yeah, like they rushed half of the movie.
They rushed that second half of the movie.
Yeah.
The first half was really atmospheric. It was scary. It was tense. And then, you know, and I think it was being alone. You were alone with this girl in this bunker. You know, when the power goes out and Mother's unoperational, like I was afraid with her. Like I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah.
And so they sort of lost that towards the end, and that really is what kind of lowers the score for me. I'm going to give this 6.8 out of 10.
6.8 embryos out of 10.
There we go.
All right. Cool. How about out of 5? How many embryos? Sorry.
Okay.
We're going to stick to a 5 scale.
If my math is correct, then that would be a 3.4 out of 5.
3.4. Okay.
Oh, see, then now that sounds higher.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a solid 3.1 out of 5.
All right. Justin.
So I think that the set design, the look, and the feel, they nailed it.
Yeah.
To Kevin's point, though, it is an overused sort of trope within sci-fi, which one reason it doesn't feel different. It doesn't feel different at all. I think this is a hodgepodge of different ideas smashed together that are not properly executed with actually like good writing.
Yeah.
And actual good direction of like how we move through these things. I totally agree. The first bit was very atmospherical and it felt very eerie and, you know, just it put you in the place. But then, you know, the introduction of Hilary Swank's character and everything just kind of it just went downhill for me.
So how many embryos?
I'm going to give it 2 embryos out of 5.
2 embryos out of 5.
Round number.
There you go.
Rookie score, bro.
Yeah.
Rookie score.
I mean, for me, as far as round numbers are concerned, I'm using. So I've been using an app lately, not to deviate too much, but called Letterboxd. Get it, use it. It's awesome. You can see at least what I'm reviewing on it. If you want to, under Geekcentric, we might change that. I don't know, but I thought this movie. I was ready to come in giving it a little bit of a higher score. And then after having this discussion with both of you, I've kind of lowered my score a little bit because I think at the end of the movie, I immediately thought I wanted more. And it was because of that I had a higher score in place. But now realizing that I wanted more because they didn't do a good enough job giving me enough in the way that they gave it. If it was they gave me enough and then I still wanted more, I think it would deserve that higher score. But because now through this discussion, I'm starting to realize, no, wait. They kind of just rushed that second half, like you said, of the movie. I was ready to give this 3.5 embryos out of 5. I'm bringing that down to 3 embryos out of 5. That's
So
my
I have the
final score.
highest score. Jeez.
There you go. You love this movie, Kevin.
Well,
What's your
apparently.
obsession with I Am Mother? Well, that's it for Watch Club. Listen, we've got some rules for Watch Club. Kevin, can you just give our listeners the rules for Watch Club?
The first rule of Watch Club is please talk about Watch Club.
Absolutely. Talk about Watch Club. Let your friends know. Ask them to check out our podcast. And if you have any suggestions for Watch Club, or any what you want to watch, write into wearegeekcentric@gmail.com, and you can let us know what your thoughts are, what you would want to watch for Watch Club.
You can also hit us up on Twitter at Geekcentric YT. That's Geekcentric YT. The YT's for YouTube.
Well, that's it. Episode 2, guys, in the bag. We're off to a good start here, I think. We've got lots of cool segments like Movie Combat, Watch Club, Total Recast, planned out for future episodes, as well as a few other segments that we haven't quite talked about yet. Of course, if you enjoyed this week's episode, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts. We are Geekcentric, and you can be too, which means you can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Geekcentric. And you can also, as Justin mentioned, follow us on Twitter, but you can also follow us on Instagram. We are Geekcentric. Justin, Kevin, thanks so much for joining me for today's episode, you guys.
Thanks for having us, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And as we say, love ya.
Get home safe, guys.
Peace.